It's so easy for argumentative writing to feel dry, boring, and crammed full of facts. So today's superpower is going to come from the world of newspapers, whose job is to entertain. You might think newspapers exist to give us the news, but is that true? When was the last time you read headlines like these? 900 million people lifted out of poverty in the last 10 years. World life expectancy has risen by 26 years since 1950. HIV death rates are at their lowest in 28 years. Polio cases have almost disappeared from 368,000 in 1980 to just 46 in 2016. No, this is because good news doesn't sell. And it's also because we don't like numbers. We want stories, faces, people. We want to be emotionally involved, so newspapers tell stories, especially bad ones. So how does this help you in your argumentative essay? I'm glad you asked. A clever way of introducing bad news, people, and faces into an argumentative essay is with the counter-argument. Classic essay argument structures tell you to write 2 detailed paragraphs about your main argument before introducing the counter-argument, which you then demolish in your conclusion. But newspaper readers don't have time for that sort of stuff. They want the controversy, the counter-argument, early. So journalists start with the counter-argument. This is much more exciting to read. Now, how do they make it personal? They use the power of anecdote, a small story, stories of faces and people. This is the supercharged skill which will lift your writing. Let's see an example. Imagine your argumentative essay is going to argue that teachers and students should wear face masks in school. Your opening paragraph is therefore going to disagree with that because it's the counter-argument. But not in a dry, boring, stick-to-the-facts way. Oh no, you're going to start with an anecdote which turns each objection into people and faces. Take a look. You love Miss Brooks' lessons. She has a brilliant way of explaining things, and her voice is full of expression. She brings her subject to life. Not this year, though. She's muted and distant behind her mask. You hate your mask too. Why put your hand up when you know your voice will sound weak and weird when you answer? And just breathing fogs up your glasses, and James thinks it's hilarious to ping the elastic against the backs of your ears at least 3 times a lesson. What happens if you turn around to protest? Instant detention for deliberately breaking social distancing rules. Admit it, learning would be easier on Zoom. This is a really effective anecdote because it takes abstract ideas and makes them personal and dramatic. Using an anecdote has also allowed me to teach you 10 other techniques. They're coming up now. Emotive language should be everywhere. A few are love, brilliant, hate, weak, hilarious. Using the senses brings the scene to life. Voice, muted, sound, ping. The most powerful technique in any kind of writing is, of course, contrast. Not this year, though. Learning would be easier. Most students will only write about the present, so you are going to write about the future. Naturally, we love a rhetorical question. Use imperative verbs to tell your reader what to do. Play with colloquial language, but only for effect. You can create a real cool contrast and symmetry by starting and ending the paragraph with short sentences. And to make your writing memorable, use repetition and alliteration. And because anecdote is a story, the whole thing has been a case of show, don't tell. Now let's test what you've learned from this video. Go back to the text, read it through, see my annotations, and try to remember what the 10 skills were which I've just taught you in the anecdote. I've been Mr. Salles for pretty much the whole of this video. If you'd like to learn more about persuasive writing, why not click on one of the videos appearing now or now. See you soon on my channel.